And just wanted to give everybody a quick heads up. Game 3 of the day is going to start a little bit behind schedule as Game 2 ran over a little bit. So we are just a few moments away from the Palomar Comets taking on the San Joaquin Mustangs. Back in a moment.
And we welcome you back to Mount San Antonio College Game 3 of the day, the 2018 3C2A Softball Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Jeff Stoynoff back with you here on SoCal College Sports, joined by Jesse Steinberg, West LA head coach. And Jesse, thanks so much for joining us and stepping in here, offering some commentary help. We certainly appreciate it. And right away, we get a look at maybe one of the best teams in the entire state. We know at top-ranked San Mateo just went down, but Palomar, top team in the South, 38-3 this season, and a team that really brings it in every category, I think it's safe to say.
Well, they had both the player and pitcher of the year for SoCal, so they've got some good credentials. Let's see how well they play today.
Morgan Wheeler will start it off for San Joaquin Delta. And swings at that one and pokes it foul, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Alicia Garcia on the mound for the Comets. Try to set the defense for you as we move forward. Moving right along, a little bit long in Game 2, but they made it through the workout here, and they're going to get going pretty quickly here, try to keep things moving on a very busy Day 1. On an overall busy weekend, I think it's safe to say. No balls, 2 strikes on Wheeler. Again, tries the running start and takes this one low. A ball and 2 strikes the count. It'll be Wheeler followed by Tawny Diernick and Taylor Ward for the Mustangs, who come in with a record of 28-16, the number 4 seed in the South. Here's the 1-2 from Garcia. And that one just outside.
It's a close pitch to watch.
And Garcia takes a step out of the circle, tries to gather herself after just missing on 1-2. That one well high and outside. So it goes full, and Wheeler making Garcia work here right off the bat. Now we're ready. Here's the payoff. And that one again fouled off up over the screen. Good first at bat for Wheeler. And she'll take a little time now. She's ready. Here's the 3-2. Down on strikes. So Garcia gets the strikeout on Wheeler. That'll bring up Diernick. So Diernick stands in from the right side. Here's the first pitch, off speed, in there for a strike. And Garcia already having to work here in the top of the first. But quickly ahead on Diernick, no balls and 2 strikes. Garcia kicks and delivers. Diernick tried to hold up. They'll go down to first, and she is down on strikes. So a good start for Garcia. Back-to-back strikeouts, and that'll bring up Ward. wanted to try and give you the numbers on Garcia. To bring these up, she comes in with a record 25-0 in 25 starts. 129 and 2/3 innings pitched. She's allowed just 70 hits. Walked 48, struck out 166. The ERA is 0.86. Well, Coach, what can you say about a record of 25-0?
Obviously, she's done her job and kept her team in contention. And with a 0.86 ERA, she's not giving up a lot of hits or runs.
It's not often that you will say this about an ERA of 0.86, but the 25-0 record would seem to suggest that she's got pretty good offense behind her, too.
That would.
She doesn't run into a shutout or anything to maybe pick up a loss, but the Comets certainly have to feel a lot of confidence at the plate with that in the circle.
Yeah.
But that is a gaudy stat line, to be sure. A ball and 2 strikes the count. Now on Ward, who's also had an outstanding season for the Mustangs. An average, if memory serves, up over 500. I'll try to bring that up for you. See if we can get the actual stats very quickly. That one way high. And the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, Ward on the season, I overshot it a little bit. The average, I should say, at 406. 8 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Cold strike 3. And Garcia off to a fast start, to say the least. Strikes out the side in the top of the first. We're through half an inning, no score. Palomar and San Joaquin Delta, the 3C2A softball championship on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Return for the bottom of the first. No score. Between the top seed Palomar in the south and the 4 seed San Joaquin Delta in the north. Marissa Espinoza gets the call in the circle. That also no surprise. Pretty small roster for San Joaquin Delta. I counted about 12 players, I believe, on the team. Not unheard of in softball, but it's a bit of a lonely bench, I guess, over there for head coach Jim Fisher and the rest of the Mustang staff.
Doesn't give him a lot of options unless he's got some very versatile players.
That one in there for a strike. It'll be Kiana Villanueva leading things off, followed by Sarah Fisher and Alicia Garcia in the 3 spot for Espinoza. And if you're Marissa Espinoza, I imagine you got to feel a measure of pressure right away watching Garcia in that top of the first come out with the numbers and really back it up. Bouncing ball towards short. Dearnick to her left and over to first in time to retire Villanueva. Well, we just saw the top team in the state go down in a game to El Camino 5-4, so obviously to say that anything can happen here is an understatement.
Well, the key at this level is mistakes. Who makes the least and who takes advantages of the other team's mistakes.
Yep.
So El Camino was able to jump on a couple of mistakes by San Mateo and come out on top.
Yep, absolutely. Well, anytime in a short series like this, it'll be timely hitting, and you know, maybe who can come up with those clutch hits with the runners on base. Certainly that was a big part of Game 1, which saw Mount San Antonio College pull out a 2-1 win over Ohlone in a very tight contest. And there they got a error in inning and then followed it up with the 2-out home run, and that was the difference. And it's going to take something like that. Here's the 0-1 from Espinoza through the right side for a base hit. So Fisher has the first hit of the afternoon. And And a runner at first, and that'll bring up Garcia. A dual threat here. She's the pitcher, but also in the lineup in the 3 spot. So Espinoza getting ready. And the first pitch to Garcia just outside. Garcia batting .434 on the season. 1 home run, 32 runs batted in.
Obviously helps herself a lot towards that 25-0 record right there.
It's probably overused, but that's a Ruthian stat line there with the 0.86 ERA, .434 average. That is excelling in all phases. So Garcia, 2 balls and no strikes. The count, Fisher at first. Bryn Miller waits on deck. Off-speed pitch, and Garcia out in front. Pops this one to second, and an easy play for Ward. For out number 2, Fisher retreats back to first, and that'll bring up Bryn Miller. Bryn Miller on the season, batting .422, 2 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Espinoza rocks and fires. Again through the hole on the right side, another base hit. Meanwhile, Fisher digging hard around second, and she'll make it to third. So runners at the corners with 2 down, and that'll bring up Crystal Moore Delorier.
Good base running by Fisher to take the extra base on that.
Moore Delorier batting .434 with 2 home runs, 32 runs batted in. Trying to get you the numbers here on Espinoza. On the, I should say, in the circle. For San Joaquin Delta. Here's the first pitch. First pitch swinging, grounded up the middle. Terrific play by Ward. Moving to her right, she goes to second to retire the side. A run saver from Ward, and through 1, we've got no score, no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. We're through 1. No score here from Mount San Antonio College. It's the 3C2A Softball Championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Top of the second inning here in game number 3 of 4 on the day on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Palomar and San Joaquin Delta, the winner, advances to game 6 tomorrow here at Mount San Antonio College. The winner of this game will take on the winner of our nightcap tonight.
Sierra College and
Sierra
Cypress.
and Cypress, that's it. Thanks, Coach, for picking me up. I knew it was Cypress. I was Trying to find my brackets here. A ball and no strikes on Janelle Rodriguez leading things off. She'll be followed by Michaela Alfidi and Shea Trent against Alicia Garcia, who struck out the side in the first. That one fouled out of play. Count evened up at a ball and a strike. Palomar on a 20-game win streak coming in. Meanwhile, San Joaquin Delta, what a turnaround it's been for Coach Fisher and this team. This is a team that started out 2-7 this season. So to turn it around and get it to 28-16, that off the end of the bat, and Garcia, good athleticism in the circle, able to get a piece of it and then recover and get the out at first. So Rodriguez retired.
Well, San Joaquin Delta made a remarkable run to get here, considering they were originally the number 7 seed in the North.
Yeah, it was Feather River was the number 2 seed, I believe, and they went down.
Yep.
And that more or less opened the door for San Joaquin Delta to get in here. Now they want to see if they can do some damage once they're here. A ball and no strikes to count on Janelle Rodriguez. Garcia with a long look. And she's ready. Rocks and fires on the outside corner. Terrific location. Right at the knees, a ball and a strike to count. One pitch. And a good job by Alfidi. Holding up. Count now 2 balls and a strike.
First inning, Garcia jumped ahead on each hitter 0-2. Now she's struggling a little bit.
And that one cued foul up the first base line. Well, you know, when you see a pitcher come out and they're particularly devastating in an inning, especially starting out, what's the chatter in the dugout? Like, what's the adjustment there, and what's the talk there about how you move forward from that kind of thing?
Well, a lot of it depends on if she's throwing strikes or if you're chasing her pitch out of the strike zone.
Yeah.
And trying to make sure that you're not chasing her pitch, staying off that rise ball. You know, that ball up in your eyes. We refer to it as a piñata ball.
Uh-huh.
You know, but there's no candy in that piñata, so don't swing at it.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Alfidi. And again, fouled back, had a good cut. It's a good at bat from Alfidi now on to the 7th pitch coming up. And I suppose that's sort of the first thing you're going to try to do against pitchers who's had a lot of success is get some deep counts maybe and make them work a little bit. Get a look at all the pitches.
Yeah, try to make sure you're swinging at strikes and not helping her is your first order of business.
3-2 pitch. Back to the screen again.
Her pitch doesn't seem overpowering. She seems to be really good at hitting her spots.
Kylie Pignon in left, McKenna Crawford in center, Sarah Fisher in right. Give you the infield after this pitch. Swung on and missed. Alfidi down on strikes. 5 up, 5 down for Garcia to start things. 4 of them on strikes. And Shea Trent will be the batter. The infield third to first, Shay Lane, Allie Hewen, Jillian Zamora, and Crystal Moore Delorier. At first, the battery, Bryn Miller and Alicia Garcia in the circle. So that'll bring up Shea Trent, first pitch swinging and fouled away.
There's a little out in front of that pitch.
Yeah, to your point, just looking at the brackets in the North, San Joaquin Delta opened up with the win over Fresno City and then got Sacramento City, the 15 seed, after they pulled the upset on Feather River. And they were able to get past, or they reseeded, so they took on San Jose City, I should say, in the next round. And both times, San Joaquin Delta dropped game 1, but came back to win games 2 and 3. Well, they did against San Jose. Check that. No, they did get past Fresno City 2 straight, but they were at the brink. This one rolled up the line toward first. More Delorier there to put it away. 3 up, 3 down. We're through 1.5. No score. Palomar and San Joaquin Delta here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. On to the bottom of the second in a scoreless game. Kylie Pignon followed by Allie Hewen and McKenna Crawford. Due up for Palomar against Marissa Espinoza. Espinoza surrendered a couple of base hits in the first, but able to get out of it with no runs, with a little help behind her. Taylor Ward, Tawny Diernick, both with some good plays in that bottom of the first inning to keep the Comets off the board. No balls, one strike, the count on Pignon. Espinoza, bouncing ball up the middle of base hit. Looked like the infield kind of pulled in there. Well, a little bit opening up a lane for Pignon.
She showed slapper on the first pitch and then sat back and hit on the second pitch, so that kind of took advantage of the defensive shift there.
Cagey and the runner on. So Espinoza's allowed 3 hits now in the first 1+, and Allie Hewen will be the batter. First pitch, outside, a ball and no strikes. Hewen comes in batting .407, no home runs, 32 runs batted in. I'm pretty sure I haven't gotten every number, but I don't think I've called a batting average under 400 yet for this Palomar team. And
I believe you are correct on that.
It is a pretty devastating order up and down the lineup. And certainly a tall order for the Mustangs, but still scoreless here in the second.
They don't have a lot of power, but they put their bat on the ball and find grass.
Yeah. Yeah, you got Sarah Fisher with 15 home runs for this team, but the next highest, to your point, is 2. So up and down the order, it's not a lot of power. Now, hot shot to third. Althidi with a terrific play goes to second for the force. Well, they call it the hot corner. Not a big surprise now, Althidi. Cat-quick reflexes there to come up with that one and then make the throw to second to get Pignon. So Hewen at first with 1 down, and that is so tough. Where so often you have to move forward, play that position, and you have to have those kind of quick reflexes that we just saw from Althidi. First pitch popped in foul territory, playable.
Dropped.
And Martinez can't quite come up with it. Tried to make the over-the-shoulder catch, and not an easy one to bring in. So no balls and a strike, and another life here for McKenna Crawford, the center fielder. Crawford comes in batting .355. No home runs, 14 runs batted in. They're in at the corners. And that one squirts away from Rodriguez, but she's able to get a handle on it. A ball and a strike, the count.
Good movement behind the plate for Rodriguez, tracking down that ball that popped out of her glove.
Jillian Zamora waits on deck for the Comets. Hewen at first, off-speed pitch. Gonna call that one a little low, 2 balls and a strike. Espinoza comes in with a record of 20-13 on the season, as that one misses outside, 3 balls and a strike. 198 innings, she's allowed 238 hits, walked 37, struck out 52, an ERA of 2.90. So right away you see the hits greater than the innings pitched, so not a big surprise maybe that she surrendered 3 hits here early, but a custom you would expect to working out of Jams. Bunted out in front of home plate. They'll go to first to get Crawford, but on the play, Hewen advances to second. So 2 down, a runner at second, and Jillian Zamora coming to the plate.
She seems to work out of jams. If she's given up more hits than innings pitched, she's accustomed to having runners on the bases, which means she's comfortable, so that's a good thing for Delta.
.351 batting average on the season for Zamora. No home runs, 21 runs batted in. This one gets away from Rodriguez, and this time Hewen able to advance. So we're joined by the Mike Zepeda returning.
Feeling you, Jeffrey.
A ball and no strikes the count on Zamora. Hewen now at third with 2 down. See Martinez there. She's looking at her wrist. Talk about what she's got there. That
it's a wristband signal calling system.
Right back to the circle. Good play by Martinez. She goes to first to retire Zamora and the side. We're through 2, still scoreless. Palomar and San Joaquin Delta. It's the 3C2A softball championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Top of the third from Mount San Antonio College. It's the 3C2A softball championship here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Bottom of the order due up, Raquel Rivera, Sam Martinez, Gabby Olivas. Due up against Alicia Garcia, the pitcher of the year. 3C2A. Player of the year, Sarah Fisher, in the lineup for Palomar as well, as you alluded to, Coach. And pretty good combination there when you can get the best hitter, best pitcher. That's a good start.
Makes it a whole lot easier to get your program up and running for the year.
Raquel Rivera stands in from the right side. Garcia ready, rocks and fires. And one outside. A ball and no strikes.
Jeffrey, I don't know if you've alluded to it, but San Joaquin Delta didn't exactly get out of the gate hot, very hot. 3-7, I think, in their first 10.
Yeah, it's 2-7 at one point. Yeah, before they won one. And yeah, it's an amazing turnaround. And saw Ohlone, a team that also had struggled and had some ups and downs on the season, and they came in and I think a very confident bunch and very nearly got the win in Game 1 today. And you see the Mustangs here in the third inning and still scoreless, and it's just one game. Anything can happen. High pop, left field, foul territory, but Piñon has room and makes the catch.
Had an opportunity to talk with Matt Folsom earlier today about the matchups and particularly about the teams out of the north, and he says, watch out for San Joaquin Delta. This is a team that's gelling at the right time, and they're maybe arguably the hottest team in the state coming in, especially considering that slow start.
One of the keys to winning a championship is getting your team to come together at the right time. So it looks like Delta has done that. And see how it plays out.
Sam Martinez batting from the left side, takes a pitch for a strike.
And Coach, as far as Mount Sac is concerned, they're the host school, a lot of emotion here. What kind of a factor does having home field advantage, true home field advantage in such a format that's supposed to be a neutral format, what does that play into for the weekend?
Well, a lot of it, you're sleeping in your own bed at night. You're not in a hotel. You're not away from friends and family. You're at home.
0-2 on Martinez. Swing and a miss. 5th strikeout already for Alicia Garcia. 8 in a row retired, and that'll bring up Gabby Olivas.
You know, and also being able to have the support of your home fans.
Yeah.
You know, there are people, Mount Sac packed this place for that first game this morning.
They did.
And, you know, 11 o'clock on a Thursday morning, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And they'll be back at it at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, taking on El Camino College.
Oh.
1 ball, no strikes, and we have 1 game left today, and it's a terrific matchup between perennial powers, Sierra, who won the championship in 2014, and one of the outstanding programs in the North, and, of course, Cypress, maybe the name program in the 3C2A with 9 championships in their illustrious history.
Coming off the heels of an undefeated season in the state championship a year ago that we had the opportunity to call up in Bakersfield, but the format has changed, and you know that will definitely play a factor. And well, you expect Coach Brad Pickler and company to be ready for it.
Yeah, just a 3 seed in the South, but how do you like that draw if you're the 2 seed in the North? 3 balls and no strikes.
You don't.
Meanwhile, the count on Olivas, who's way out in front. Garcia ready. Here's the pitch. Takes something off, and it's in there for a strike.
And Alicia Garcia, we're featuring a very good pitcher, undefeated on the season of the year in this matchup, and we have Amarissa Medina. I believe Maggie White referred to her as the funky cold Medina when they played her, and she was outstanding, and she's really been the pitcher of note in the North, or at least one of them anyway, from Sierra. So the Wolverines are stacked and ready to go, and Coach Pickler and company are going to have their hands full.
3 balls and 2 strikes. I should say, well, they have it at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think I lost one in there somewhere. So here's the 2-2. Goes to the rise ball, and Olivas lays off. She's batting .264 on the season. A home run, 22 runs batted in. Might be the first time Garcia's gone to 3 balls. No, she did have a long at-bat against Althea, a good battle, before eventually getting her on strikes. But
I believe the leadoff hitter, she went to a full count before striking her out.
Yeah. Well, as you alluded to, Coach, it doesn't look on the eye test like overpowering stuff. Is much more a little bit of guile and placement and mixing of speeds. And a calling card of Garcia. Cold strike 3. 6 strikeouts, 9 in a row retired. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. Palomar and San Joaquin Delta scoreless on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
Broadcasting live from Mount San Antonio College. It's 2018 3C2A softball championship.
And we head to the bottom of the 3rd in a scoreless game. Top of the order due up, Kiana Villanueva, Sarah Fisher, and Alicia Garcia due up against Marissa Espinoza, who's battled her way through 2 innings. Sorry about that, Michael.
Remember, everybody, www.SoCalCollegeSports.com. Also on our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1. Feel free to subscribe. You can watch this game in its entirety on our archive viewing section. Tweet at us, at SoCal College SPO. I'm going to give a shout-out on Twitter.
Villanueva grounded to short in the 1st. Espinoza ready. Ground ball towards short again. Diernick to her left. Well, that was very similar to the first time that Villanueva was up. And again, Diernick flashes good range at short.
He's doing a good job of covering the middle.
That'll bring up Sarah Fisher. And I got to tell you guys, I didn't get a chance to say this, but I have to deliver this stat line. 15 home runs, 71 runs batted in, 590 the average on the season. And That is spectacular from Fisher, the player of the year. And she delivered her first time up with a base hit. So she's off to a good start here on championship weekend.
Think she knows how to swing a bat?
Just a little bit.
It would appear so. Well, we talked a little bit about it. Now, talk about it's on the wrist there. There's
the signal system. Basically, a coach gives a 3-number code, and there's a grid, and it's depending upon how it's set up. It's either 2 numbers across and 1 number down, or 1 number across and 2 numbers down, and that way you can hide your signals a little bit better without having to, do the old finger flashes and touch the nose and all that.
For Sarah Fisher, do you think there's maybe like an asterisk on that whole thing that says don't pitch to her, or don't give her anything she can hit cleanly?
4 pitches over the catcher's head.
There are times where you'll call a pitch that you're not expecting your pitcher to throw a strike with it.
Right.
That you're intentionally, it's like, I want it up at her eyes.
Right.
See if
Change eye level.
Yeah, well, see if she chases it, and you have a hitter like Sarah Fisher, you're going to be very careful with her, especially if there's runners on base in front of her.
Well, Fisher's out in front here, 2 balls and no strikes. Espinoza rocks and fires, and that one in the dirt. It was actually 3-0. And Fisher works a 4-pitch walk. And Espinoza elects to proceed carefully rather than giving Fisher a chance to get a look at something in the zone.
She followed the advice of the asterisk.
That'll bring up Alicia Garcia, who popped to second her first time up. And Garcia in the lineup, despite being in the circle, and no big surprise with the average up over 400. And she's got Fisher at first now with 1 down. First pitch from Espinoza, misses again outside, a ball and no strikes. And Espinoza's given up 3 hits through the first 2 innings, but now starting to struggle some with the control with a walk, and she falls behind to Garcia. And that'll bring about a conference on the mound. Comes Coach Fisher, and he'll want to talk it over.
I'm sure they scouted Palomar, at least looked over their lineup and saw the big numbers, and any coach is not going to look forward to seeing that, and especially not in an environment like this where you've got to play your best softball, and having to deal with players like Fisher and Garcia back to back in the lineup, and who do you want to let hurt you? Who are you willing to let beat you today?
Yeah, that's
Well, the impressive numbers just keep rolling on, because as you look down the roster here, 76 steals as a team for Palomar in 80 attempts on the season, and Fisher has 9 of those steals in 10 attempts, so good speed on the base paths.
That sound that you hear is I think there's a computer that's connected to a microphone. It's not our computer. Just want to preface that.
It is the first thing I thought, but I don't think any of our computers actually make that sound, so I was pretty sure that wasn't us. 2 balls and no strikes, now the count on Garcia. Bryn Miller waits on deck. Hot shot gets by Dearnick into shallow left. That'll be a base hit for Garcia. Dearnick was right there, but that ball was hammered.
Scold.
A low line drive, and well, they're going to call that an error on Dearnick, and she was there, but a tough play.
Coach, that's a pretty rough error.
Yeah, she doesn't get the hometown scoring on the error, that's for sure.
That's generally what's classified as too hot to handle.
Yeah. So that puts runners at first and second, brings up Bryn Miller, who had a base hit her first time up.
Coach, you got some activity in the bullpen for Palomar. Is this just a product of just trying to keep some arms fresh?
High chopper to Dearnick. She goes to third to get the lead runner.
The way Garcia's pitching, unless they're trying to save her, I would think she's just out there getting some work in, trying to stay fresh in case they need her.
Just in case they get a big lead here and want to give her some innings?
Yeah.
Runners at first and second, now 2 down after the fielder's choice. That'll bring up Crystal Moore-Delorier. Delorier, a .434 hitter on the season. Martinez rocks and fires and misses. A ball and no strikes. Delorier was retired to end the first on a good play by Taylor Ward to help Espinoza get out of a jam. That one high, 2 balls, no strikes. Kylie Pignon would be next if Delorier can keep it alive. Espinoza ready, here's the 2-0. Bouncing ball to second, and Ward will go to first to retire the side. Espinoza strands 2 more runners. We're through 3 complaints, still scoreless. San Joaquin, Delta, and Palomar in the 3C2A softball championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. We head into the top of the 4th, no score. Number 1 seed in the South, Palomar College, with a record of 38-3. Their opening round matchup with San Joaquin Delta. The 4 seed from the North emerged as the 7th seed and made it here to Walnut for championship weekend. And their prize is Alicia Garcia, the pitcher of the year. Here on day 1. Wheeler bunts this one in the air. One Hopper and Miller on top of it quickly and able to get Wheeler at first base. So 1 pitch, 1 out, and that'll bring up Tawny Diernick.
Not a bad plan offensively there. A lot of times when you have a dominant pitcher in the circle, the defense falls asleep, so dropping down a bunt, trying to make sure they're still paying attention, almost worked out for San Joaquin Delta.
Yeah, that was no easy play for Bryn Miller, getting up and out there and fielding that ball on a hop, but good sure hands and a good throw to first. That'll bring up Diernick, batting .341 on the season, 4 home runs, 25 runs batted in. 1 ball and no strikes. Garcia has set down 10 in a row to get things started here for Palomar as she works in the 4th. That one, Diernick out in front, fouls that one back. Evens up the count at a ball and a strike.
So now Palomar does it just slightly differently than San Joaquin Delta. Delta, the pitcher, has the wristband on. Palomar, it's the catcher.
And that one gets Diernick on the arm. That's the first base runner for the Mustangs, and they'll see if they can take advantage against Garcia after the hit batsman. Palomar, the champions in the Pacific Coast, running away with that conference. A regular season record of 34-3, undefeated in the conference. Meanwhile, San Joaquin Delta finished 2nd in the Big 8 behind Sierra. And of course, Sierra coming up next. So the Big 8 well represented, as they so often are in our championship coverage here across sports. No balls and a strike on Ward. 8 home runs on the season for Taylor Ward. Leads the Mustangs. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes on Ward, who struck out in the first. Garcia rocks and fires. Outside, a ball and 2 strikes. Taylor Ward, an All-State player this year for San Joaquin Delta. Not a big surprise. Of course, you know Palomar's got a few players on that All-State team. Starting with Garcia in the circle.
And Fisher in the outfield.
Yep. Crystal Delorier. Also, Allie Hewen. Ward has a good cut, but fouls this one up the line. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Deernick at first. Just 1 steal on the season for Deernick. You look at Garcia, a pitcher that you think about trying to put runners in motion, maybe seeing if you can get something going, or too dangerous with her ability to locate pitches. Called strike 3.
I don't know if you want to take the bat out of your hitter's hands or, you know, hope that they get lucky and make contact.
Yeah. Janelle Rodriguez digging in. Batting .299, coming in with 2 home runs, 22 runs batted in. Here's the pitch from Garcia. Tries for that outside corner again and missed this time. A ball and no strikes.
Depending upon how good Bryn Miller's arm is behind the plate, you may not want to run on her anyway.
That one rolls in. 2 balls, no strikes on Rodriguez. Mustangs with their first base runner of the day here in the 4th. Deernick at first, but 2 down now with Rodriguez batting. Rodriguez swings and fouls this one back into the stands. 2 balls and a strike. Good cut for Rodriguez on the 2-0 pitch. But maybe there as much of an indication of anything of the trouble of dealing with Garcia. I think she got a pitch in a zone that she liked. She had a pretty good cut at it and still couldn't quite get the screws on it.
Yeah.
And fouled it away.
And not barreling it up.
Rise ball, and the runner breaks for second and steals second. Deernick just beats the tag from Zamora. So the stolen base, just the 2nd on the season for Deernick. Moves a runner into scoring position. Meanwhile, the count now 3 balls and a strike as the rise ball missed for Garcia. So 3-1 on Rodriguez. Roped, but well foul.
She's got a good swing on that ball, just out in front of it.
So a full count now to Rodriguez. Base hit to the outfield here, and Deernick would certainly have an outstanding chance of scoring. At second with 2 down. Payoff pitch. Rodriguez just gets a piece. Another long at bat.
Yeah, they're battling up there against her. They're not giving in to her.
Here's the 3-2. And again, sent out of play. That's a long run for someone to go get that ball.
I think it's over on the baseball field there.
Yeah, that's still 3-2. 8th pitch coming. Rodriguez lifts this one to right. Fisher under it and has it. 4 out, number 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, but a base runner for San Joaquin Delta here in the 4th. We're through 3.5. No score. Palomar and San Joaquin Delta. You're watching the 3C2A Softball Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Bottom of the fourth inning, Palomar and San Joaquin Delta scoreless here in the 3C2A softball championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Due up, Kylie Pignon, Allie Hewen, and McKenna Crawford.
Slap on her first swing.
Swings at the first pitch, lines it to left, but closing in is Rivera to make the catch. And Rivera positioned well to start with, but then good hands on the run, makes the catch on the ball off the bat of Pignon. So one pitch, one out, and that'll bring up Hewen.
Hewen grounded out to third base last time up.
Yeah, you get the feeling that Espinoza also around the plate a lot, gives up a lot of balls hit in play, is one of those pitchers that you like to field behind and you know, sort of keeps you active and, you know, keeps the ball in play. And she's had very good defense behind her already here today, and I think that's part of her success.
That is true. She's what you call a pitch-to-contact pitcher. She's there to get them to swing the bat and put it in play and let her defense work behind her.
1-0 on Hewen. Lifted towards center, dropping, and it'll drop in for a base hit. So Hewen with the one-out single. And that'll bring up Crawford, who had a successful sacrifice her first time up. Only 2 pitchers pitched this season for San Joaquin Delta, so I would not expect to see a lot of shifting and changing here from Coach Fisher for the Mustangs.
He's got his ace out there, and he's going to ride her and see how far they can go.
Hewen at first, pitch to Crawford. A little high and outside, a ball and no strikes. Zamora will be next. Crawford on the season, a .355 hitter. A ball and no strikes. Espinoza ready. Kicks and delivers. There goes the runner. The throw down, not in time. Good jump for Hewen. She steals second, and a runner in scoring position now with just 1 out and a 2-ball and no strike count on McKenna Crawford.
And you got to know head coach Lacey Kraft knows her girls can hit. Look where she's standing. Down the third baseline, she's almost in the dugout when the pitch is delivered.
It's now 1-1 as they correct that on Crawford. Lined into center. Trent closing in. Unable to come up with it, but she does trap it and keep it in front of her. Hewen had to stay at second to make sure that ball wasn't caught, so she remains at second on the base hit for Crawford. So runners at first and second, still only 1 out, and now Zamora coming to the plate.
It was a great effort by Trent on that ball in center. There for a minute, I thought she caught it.
Yeah, very close, just a trap, and a little bit of good fortune for the Mustangs that that one doesn't bounce past her, because it's still going out there to the wall. There goes the runner down to third, and nobody there. Alfidi had cheated in at third, and it was Dearnick moving over, but really the only one at third base was Allie Hewen, as she is able to get in with her second stolen base. Over to third on the play, Crawford steals second. So runners at second and third now with 1 down. And a big-time scoring chance for Palomar here in a scoreless game. Infield in at all 4 positions. Zamora chops this one toward first. Martinez comes home with it, but not in time. Meanwhile, Zamora running hard around first makes it all the way to second. So that should go down as a fielder's choice.
Yep, with an RBI.
And a run scored for Hewen. So it's runners at second and third, and they'll huddle up again in the circle, will the Mustangs, as the Comets have broken through, and they now lead it 1-0. Well, Martinez got on that ball pretty quickly, but it was another very good jump for Allie Hewen off of third base on contact, and just beat the throw.
Was the first baseman made a heads-up play coming home. It just took just a split second too long to get Hewen.
Meanwhile, very heady base running from Zamora, who never stopped around first, and ends up taking second. So she's in scoring position, second and third for the Comets, still only 1 out. And brings up the top of the order, Kiana Villanueva. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. And if you're Marissa Espinoza, you got to hold them right here. I got to imagine, Coach, you can't get down 2 or 3 to nothing here. Alicia Garcia in the circle.
Probably not. It'd be a very, very tall hill to climb.
0-1 pitch, high chopper. This could be trouble. Takes a hop for Diernick. Her only play is to first, and she's not in time with the throw. So an infield hit for Villanueva. Brings home Crawford. First and third. Still only one out. And you keep an eye on Villanueva, who's got very good speed at the top of the order, 16 steals. And the Comets have already had a lot of success on the base paths as they lead this one 2-0, and they're threatening to bring home more.
Looks like they're going to put in a pinch runner here at first.
Well, so much for the great speed of Villanueva, I guess, but instead we'll have a pinch runner. And the batter will be Sarah Fisher, and Fisher of the .590 average on the season. Perfect on the afternoon, a base hit and a walk in 2 trips, and she's got a chance to add to the lead here with runners at the corners.
Shay Lane is the runner at first base.
Okay. Now runner breaks for second, nobody there, so Lane takes second. So runners now at second and third.
That's a design defensive play by San Joaquin Delta to try to make sure the runner on third doesn't break if they go after the runner going to second.
Line drive, base hit, that'll score 1. It gets away from Trenton center. Another run will come home, and it's now 4-0 on a 2-run single by Sarah Fisher. Well, just that quickly, Palomar jumps all over the Mustangs. A 4-run inning here in the 4th, and it's still going with only 1 out. And Fisher crushes one again there, a hard line drive back up the middle, and she hasn't been cheated yet, unless you count the time they walked her on 4 pitches. But
defensively, that was probably the best at bat for San Joaquin Delta, not letting her swing the bat, and it looks like we're going to get a pitching change for San Joaquin Delta.
Yeah, that'll be it for Espinoza, who's had to battle. Goes 3 1/3 and leaves trailing at 4-0. We'll step aside very quickly, rejoin you. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Palomar leading at 4-0 here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. So Sam Martinez moves over from first into the circle, and Marissa Espinoza will replace Martinez at first base. Meanwhile, Alicia Garcia, who's 0 for 2, steps in and takes the first pitch from Martinez low and outside. Martinez on the season has appeared in 26 games as a pitcher, starting 5 of them, and it's a ball and a strike now on Garcia. A record of 6-3, 79 innings, 103 hits allowed, walk 17, struck out 22, ERA 3.37. Fouled off. A ball and 2 strikes now on Garcia.
Much like Espinoza, her stats would make you think she's another pitch-to-contact pitcher.
Yep.
You know, not going to overpower anyone. Going to let her defense work behind her. And you just got to hope she hits Adams and not Thruhams.
Well, that plan worked through 3 innings for San Joaquin Delta, but the Comets have broken through here in the 4th with 4 on the board on 4 hits. Here's the 1-2 to Garcia. Line foul. Just out in front of that one.
She tried to sit back on it, just couldn't wait long enough for it.
Every ball pretty much hit hard this inning if you think back to the inning starting on a ball that was scalded out to left field off the bat of Cali Pinon. But Raquel Rivera was in the right spot, made a good catch on it. But after that, clean singles, 4 of them with a fielder's choice, and the Comets have the 4-0 lead. This one toward the Comet dugout. A ball and 2 strikes. Earlier today, Mount San Antonio College a 2-1 win over Ohlone College. That was followed by El Camino College, a 5-4 win in a thriller over College of San Mateo, the top-ranked team in the state. And pitch low, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Garcia. And coming up at the conclusion of this game, about a half hour after, we'll have Game 4, Cypress College taking on Sierra College. Off-speed pitch, 1 hopper to Althidi, goes to second for 1. The relay in time. 5-4-3, and the Mustangs are out of the inning, but not before the Comets have a big one. 4 runs on 4 hits. No errors, nobody left on base. We head to the 5th, and Palomar leads at 4-0 in the 3C2A softball championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Top of the 5th inning. Palomar with the 4-0 lead. It'll be Michaela Althidi, Shea Trent, and Raquel Rivera due up for the Mustangs. And one of the all-time tall hills to climb here with Alicia Garcia on the mound with a 0.86 ERA. And now the Mustangs, who have yet to register a hit today, need to come up with 4 runs. Really 5 if they're going to get all the way over the mountain. Althidi swings and just foul tips it. No balls and a strike.
Right now you have to go up with the attitude of, 1 hit at a time.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you can't hit a 4-run home run without anybody else on base.
Yeah, exactly. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike, and Althidi quickly in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. She struck out her first time up back in the 2nd.
We were playing Rock and Jock, right? What was that on MTV? You hit like a 5-run home run or something like that?
There have been some strange basketball and
There you go.
Some weird movie references.
I think it was a Rock and Jock. I think that was the big thing.
I'm old enough that my only memories of MTV are of music on MTV. Here's the 1-2 to Althidi. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Be careful, Jeff. You're going to offend a generation here.
That's okay, Jeff. I'll make you feel young. I remember before there was such a thing as MTV.
Here's the 2-2. In on the hands, and Althidi just fights it off.
Garcia's definitely in command, and she keeps working ahead. It's going to make her day a whole lot easier.
Yet to surrender a hit through 4 innings. Althidi, a .285 hitter on the season, 3 home runs, 20 runs batted in. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Garcia kicks and delivers. Goes back to the rise ball, and Althidi lays off. Well, Althidi had a real battle, taking it to a full count and fouling a couple off before she went down on strikes, and she's done it again against Garcia.
She's not going up there and waving at 3 pitches and sitting back down. She's up there battling.
Here's the payoff, and this time she gets the walk. So just what you love to see if you're a coach. You get 4 runs on the board for your pitcher, and they walk the leadoff hitter the next inning. But
this is why most of us have gray hairs.
I guess you could probably forgive Alicia Garcia this season. But the leadoff hitter aboard for the Mustangs, and that'll bring up Trent, who grounded to first to end the second. And that pitch misses inside. Well, one thing that we talk about in our coverage of softball and baseball, but I think it's germane to both games, and that is sometimes as a pitcher, when you sit for a long inning, it can take you a little bit out of a rhythm, and it is something that sometimes seems to crop up in situations for pitchers. See how Garcia maybe deals with that, and she's down in the count now. No, even double ball and a strike. She gets the call on the outside corner.
Well, a lot of times, you know, when it's 0-0 game, every pitch counts. Your team goes out and scores 4 runs for you, takes some pressure off you. Sometimes you don't, try to press as hard, and you're.
That one tipped foul. A ball and 2 strikes the count now on Shea Trent.
Something also to consider, that last at bat there for Garcia, she took one off of the foot, and she was smarting a little bit. So you maybe wonder if that has some kind of an effect on the way she pitches the next inning.
Ball and 2 strikes. Garcia with a long look. Now she's ready. Rocks and fires. That one.
Doesn't look like she's having any problems pushing off the rubber. So. No. And I'm sure if there was an issue on that, Coach Kraft would get her out and get another pitcher in.
Sure.
Trent trying to stay alive, down a ball and 2 strikes.
I think sometimes when you're pitching this well, you try to get too fine.
Yeah.
And then you get yourself into trouble because you're trying to throw that perfect pitch instead of just throwing it.
Yeah, you try to get cute with it versus just throwing the hammer.
Yeah.
Bryn Miller with a nice stop on the pitch in the dirt. Count evened up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trent came in batting .306. Home run, 11 runs batted in on the season. Here's the 2-2 from Garcia.
Ooh.
Trent takes that one just inside.
That was a pitcher's place to miss right there. That was a very good pitch.
3 balls, 2 strikes. On Trent, she's gone full again. And you got to expect that Garcia is going to be out there every game this weekend, if humanly possible, for the Comets. One hopper over to third. Lane goes to second. The relay not in time. So Trent able to leg out the fielder's choice. 1 down and a runner at first. But a lot of deep pitch counts here, and we'll take a look at what the pitch count is, but you have to be somewhat concerned. I think that Garcia has gone to a fairly healthy pitch count here, working in the 5th.
Well, there's a big difference between softball and baseball as far as pitch count. With the underarm motion, it's not as critical. And this late in the season, it's not like you're trying to preserve her.
Yep.
You know, you'll get, with the NC2A starting this weekend, I remember a few years ago there was a Hofstra girl threw like 400 and something pitches in 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, and it was...
Would you think, from a coaching standpoint, and obviously you can't speak for other coaches in any kind of definitive terms, but would you expect in a coaching situation for her to pitch 4 days in a row if it goes that far for Palomar?
I would think that she would in some capacity. Whether or not she would go full games, that's, you know, up to Lacey Kraft and her staff. And I'm sure physically she looks like the type of kid who could take the team on her back and carry her.
Yeah.
You know, but you're not looking to burn somebody out here.
Yeah.
You know, and your best interest should be in the side of the player. You know, because these girls you only get them for 2 years and then they're off to somewhere else. And you don't want to send damaged goods somewhere because you're hurting that kid's chances of getting a scholarship to complete their education.
You don't want to go with Billy Ball here in the A-to-Z guy. I went all the way back to 1981 for you on there.
Actually, probably one of the worst at it was Tommy Lasorda. He used to throw pitchers into the ground.
Yeah.
You know, he would, you know.
Dusty Baker has a bit of a reputation as well.
Yeah. So, but, you know, it's just one of those things that you get that mindset that you got to ride that horse.
Yeah, well, to your point, Garcia coming in has 129 and 2/3 innings, so not a huge amount. Crystal Moore-Delorier has 70 and 2/3, and Allie Hewen has 40 and 2/3. So they seem to have spread it out. A bunt attempt, and it's foul off the bat of Rivera, who's 0 for 1 today. So, yeah, I think it gets a little more to what you're talking about there, where you'd probably expect to see them spread it out a little bit rather than just riding Garcia the whole way.
And Coach, at this point, you know, she's at around 80 pitches thrown right now. You would think, or I think what you were alluding to earlier, what's not working for her right now is her over pitching versus her being fatigued.
Correct. Right now, she's just trying to be too perfect with her pitches instead of just going after hitters, and a lot of that's just, you know, I'm sure she knows that she hasn't given up a hit.
Well, and if you're wondering what kind of drop-off there might be here, as this one is lifted foul down the left field line, Allie Hewen, in 40 and 2/3 innings pitched this season, has a record of 2-0 with 5 saves and an ERA of 0, with 8 hits allowed and 10 walks.
She's got the Blutarski ERA, 0.0.
0.00. And there's probably another pitcher there who just has not shown up, no record at all.
That's pretty strong.
of there, but a ball and 2 strikes to count now. But obviously there's not a huge drop-off here when you're talking about Crystal Moore-Delorier, an ERA of 1.78.
Are you saying there's somebody in the bullpen that's a redshirt freshman called D-Day?
That's exactly it.
I saw
no
where you were
record
going.
whatsoever. There's just a blank line here on the computer screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Rivera. And one low and outside. Well, I'll tell you what, it's when Hewen's come on, it's been D-Day, I think, for opposing lineups. That's some kind of number. So it'll be interesting to see how the Comets move forward. It's been an outstanding season, but there's an awful lot of talent here and a lot of softball still to be played. Here's the payoff pitch, swung on and missed. The runner breaks down for second, sweep tag, and they didn't get her. So a stolen base for Shea Trent on the strikeout by Rivera. And a runner at second, 2 down, and that'll bring up Sam Martinez.
Well, 4 2/3, and she's still working on a no-hitter. Pretty impressive here from Garcia.
Yeah, hit 1 batter, walked 1 batter. Martinez stands in from the left side. Rise ball on the outside corner. Well, you think here if you're the Mustangs, you can pick up a base hit to the outfield, maybe scratch one across here. You never know. They have a runner in scoring position for the 2nd consecutive inning. And 1 high and outside. A ball and a strike.
Facing a pitcher like Garcia, though, she knows what she's doing out there, and I'm sure she's not concerned about that runner at second. She's just going after the hitter at this point.
Lifted deep to center. Crawford on the track and makes the catch. Oh, Martinez just missed it. A long fly out ends the fifth. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left on base. We head to the bottom of the fifth. Palomar leading at 4-0. You're watching the 3C2A Softball Championship on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Bottom of the fifth inning. Bryn Miller, followed by Crystal Moore Delorier and Kylie Pignon. 4, 5, and 6 due up against Sam Martinez, the lefty, into the windup and the pitch low and outside. Well, Martinez narrowly missed on a deep drive to right center to end the fifth, and now the Comets go back to work, leading it by 4. That one at the knees, and they're going to say it's a little low. 2 balls, no strikes on Miller, who's 1 for 2, a single and a fielder's choice. Off-speed pitch, low and outside. 3 balls, no strikes on Miller. Miller on the season, 2 home runs, 24 runs batted in, a .422 average. 99 walks on the season for Palomar as a team against just 58 strikeouts. So a lot of discipline at the plate, and Miller works the walk there. That'll bring up Delorier, who's 0 for 2. Grounded into a fielder's choice and grounded to second. We'll have a pinch runner for Miller. Samantha Wise-Spirit. Samantha gets a good reaction from the crowd upon being introduced. She travels well. So Wise-Spirit at first. And that'll bring up Delorier. First pitch swung on off of Deernick into left for a base hit. Well, earlier in the game, a very similar ball drew an error, and this one will also be called an error. That one, I think, well hit again, but I'd be more inclined to think that Deernick would probably like to have that ball back. I think a ball that she can come up with there.
It was a hard-hit ball, and got on her quickly, and
yeah,
she had to go up for it. It wasn't like...
not an easy play at all. That's why I say a ball in her competitive spirit that I say she would probably like to have again. Not a ball that I think I would have come up with, for instance. Bunt attempt is foul, no balls and a strike.
At this level, all of these girls think they should catch everything.
Yep.
So.
Kylie Pignon, 1 for 2, a base hit and flied out to left. Well, the Comets, it's worth mentioning that if they can push 4 across here, of course, by rule, that would end the game. If they can get the 8-run lead, they have the first 2 on here in the bottom of the 5th, already leading 4-0. That one low from Martinez, a ball and 2 strikes. The winner of this game in action in Game 2 tomorrow, Game 6 overall, right back here at roughly 1:30 when it's scheduled, but it'll go based on the length of the first game. High chopper and a terrific play moving back by Alfidi, but she can't get the tag on Wise-Spirit. Boy, Althidi almost made a sensational play there, going over her shoulder to come up with that ball that looked like it was going to be trouble at first, but tried to sweep the tag on White Spirit. Couldn't get it to go. It's going to be a base hit for Pignon, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
She showed great field presence on that play, knowing where the runner was and going after her.
Yep. Well, Althidi, we talked in our earlier games about some of the play at third base, and Althidi has certainly continued the trend. She's had a very good game over there at third base. In the field, base hit to left. 1 run will score. They'll have to hold the runners up after a sharp single by Hewen brings home Bryn Miller. And now it's 5-0, and the Comets starting to close in. The game winner now at first base. Still nobody out. Here in the bottom of the 5th, a 5-0 lead. Just to finish the schedule for tomorrow, of course, the loser in this game is back in the second game at the same time at 1:30. That's at Citrus College, of course. For all watching and following along, we will have all the games from both venues here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. So you won't miss a pitch no matter where they're playing. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes on McKenna Crawford. She singled and had a sacrifice. Well, if Crawford can send one to the wall, we might be going home here, Coach. Well, not going home, but we'll have wrapped up game 3. That one in the dirt outside, and a ball and 2 strikes.
I'm sure Palomar would like to have a walk-off here and take the 8-run rule.
The wind is picking up, and that one chopped foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And how tough is it? You know, we've talked about the difficulties working against Garcia on the mound, but it's wearing to battle this team at the plate as well. Mentioned almost 2-to-1 walks to strikeouts as a team, and they just continue to fight off pitches and make you make great pitches over and over again. Yeah,
they're battling at the plate. Coach Kraft does a great job preparing her hitters, and they're showing it in the games.
This one chopped foul again. Ball and 2 strikes. Martinez taking a little extra time. Crawford's in there. She wants to go. Here's the 1-2. Off-speed pitch. Chopper in the hole off of Diernick into left. 2 runs will score. A 2-run single for Crawford. And now the Comets just that close. They lead it 7-0. Runners at first and second. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter for Jillian Zamora. It's going to be Megan Wachholtz. If this one ends, we're going to step aside, briefly come back and wrap things up, and also try and give you a schedule for how things will proceed for Game 4 for those that are following the action overall and want to come back and join us for the last game of the day, Cypress and Sierra. So stick around. We will give you the schedule as we understand it moving forward, and remind you that, again, you can follow all the games right here on our website, www.SoCalCollegeSports, or search for our channel on YouTube. SoCal College Sports 1 in YouTube will take you to our channel where all the games are. And, that ball in the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes on Wachholtz. Wachholtz comes in batting .298. No home runs, 14 runs batted in. Megan, a freshman from La Costa Canyon High School. 1 in the dirt, 3 balls, no strikes on Wachholtz. Batting for Zamora. Top of the order, Kiana Villanueva would be next.
And they still have no outs in the inning.
Rise ball in there for a strike. Well, you'd have to expect that the Mustangs, and much like Aloni earlier today, not as likely perhaps as some to be rattled by an opening round loss. They've already faced that here in the postseason. had their back against the wall where they need to win or they're going home, and that's the position that they will almost certainly be in tomorrow, as they'll have to pick it up over at Citrus College and see if they can get themselves back to Mount San Antonio College for elimination games tomorrow night here.
It'll be a tough road, but they've proven they can do it in the past.
Ground ball to short. Dearnick with more trouble. And on the play, Hewen rounding third, and she comes home to score. And that gives Palomar the 8-0 lead, and that should do it, and it does. So back-to-back 4-run innings, and the Comets finish it off 8-0 here in the fifth, and they will win by virtue of the 8-run rule and advance to Game 6 tomorrow to take on the winner of our next game. As I say, we'll step aside very briefly here, rejoin you, going to try and find out what the schedule is moving forward, give you that information. So hopefully you can join us then for Game 4, which will come up a little bit later on. So stick around. 8-0 Palomar, the win over San Joaquin Delta. Right, 8-0 the final. Palomar advances. On the winner's side, they'll be back in action at 1:30 estimated time tomorrow, taking on the winner of our next game, Cypress and Sierra. As for our remaining game, that is scheduled to go at 7 o'clock this evening. So please join us then. It should be a fantastic game. Cypress and Sierra in the last game of the day here at the 3C2A Softball Championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com. For Coach Jesse Steinberg and everybody here at SoCalCollegeSports.com, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you at 7 for our last game of the day. So long, everybody.